Hello and welcome to the training video on the Pascua Pueblo Fire Department hose load and deployment. Let me preface this training video by stating that I did not create this PowerPoint. This PowerPoint was created by our Battalion Chief, Oscar Fuentes. He created this PowerPoint after going to a conference down in Gilbert, Arizona. He came back with his information, created this PowerPoint to showcase to our department to show the pros and cons of this hose load and how to do so. Expectations. The goal of this PowerPoint is to establish expectations, as with any other PowerPoint presentation. With those expectations, it is up to us as a department to train to these expectations. Moving forward, a little bit of background on this hose load. As I mentioned, Chief Fuentes went down to Copper State Conference in Gilbert, Arizona, March 25th through the 27th of 2022. The purpose of this hose load was for fast deployment with multiple functions. This hose load in particular has seven different means of deploying. We here at Pascua only train on three. Multiple ways to skin a cat, but for us, we focus on those three because those work best for our jurisdiction. Like we learned in the Fire Academy, fast water equals quick knockdown, higher survivability for the victims, and easier working conditions for us. A little bit of numbers being thrown at you. With this particular hose load, 46 seconds with firefighter fully masked up, ready to click regulator in. Fully deployed, ready to go. Triple air. Big boy on campus. Everybody's favorite. Golden child. Time frame for this with no mask on at the front door, 69 seconds. A little bit of food for thought. Again, these times tie into number 7. You must train on any deployment to get proficient, to get quick. What's to say you can't get the triple layer to 45 seconds, 40 seconds? If you can, great. But training. That's what it comes down to. But I digress. Fast water facts. I won't dive into these. Feel free to pause. Use these as discussion points. Go from there, but we'll continue moving forward. Overhead view of the bundle. 3 straps. Currently, right now, we're toying with the idea of using 1 strap, 2 straps. We used to use 3, worked great, no complaints, but right now we're using 1 or 2. 1 strap in front of the bale, behind the tip, 1 in the middle, and 1 at the end. That's it. How to load the bundle. Point number 1, leave approximately 20 inches of space between the nozzle end and the bundle. Number 2, nozzle end should have enough to fold back onto bundle once bundle is complete. Number 3, nozzle could be attached prior or after the bundle is complete, and grip handle from nozzle has been removed to help proper fitting in the hose tray. So I don't know about you guys. I don't keep a tape measure in my bunker bottoms. So, as mentioned, number 3, you can attach the nozzle before, have the nozzle attached, fold it over on itself. That extra bit of hose is all the hose you need to have a perfect amount extra to fold over the top. Easier way of doing it, just a little trick to keep in mind. Moving forward, bundle setup. Number 1, place the hose next to the tray. Number 2, use the tray as support for your hose bundle. Number 3, do not leave a space between the end of the tray and the first loop on both sides. As you can see in the pictures on the side, try to prevent that from happening. Try to make it flush as you can. Number 4 is just dimensions of the truck and the tray. Number 5 is how we do it. Start flicking the hose back and forth in between these 2 points until you reach loop 3 and 6. At this point, you're going to make a loop on the side opposite of the nozzle, approximately 8 inches in size, enough to fit a gloved hand through. As you can see there on the top picture, the coupling is brought to the side where the nozzle will fold over. The purpose of this is to bring that 50-foot coupling to the door prior to interior attack and search. This allows you to know how far into the structure you are when asked by command or just for your own self-knowledge. Bundle views. Bottom left, you can see that there's the extra 20 inches that you need to fold over. Top middle, next to Mr. Lego Man, you have your 2 loops on 3 and 6, 8 inches in size, which is showcased down right below it, 8-inch loops. And then on the bottom right, you have that extra tail end that loops all the way around and sits nicely on top. Overhead view, once again, this is the result of the bundle and how it should look with a total of 3 straps. 3 straps help keep everything together, prevent it from popping up, and risk getting caught. Straps are 34 inches in length. As with anything else, it takes a lot of repetition to get this quick, get this fluid, but train, as I mentioned earlier before. Now moving on to the supply. As the bundle is 100 feet of hose as well. Leave loop number 3 longer, 8 inches on both sides. Just like the bundle, 3 and 6 on one side. Now it's just 3 on both sides. This will help the deployment of the supply. You want to leave it long enough, 8 inches, enough for a gloved hand, but mostly to disseminate between the supply and the bundle and what to grab when you're deploying the hose. Because at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, doesn't matter if it's that early or if it's in the afternoon, you want to be able to differentiate between the two easily. If you have the luxury of having 2 backseaters on an engine, great. One pulls the bundle, one pulls the supply. But if you're like us and you run a 3 firefighter crew, the engineer can get in on the action. Backseater runs out the bundle. They don't pull the supply. Engineer can go over to the tray, pull out the supply, run back to the panel before the firefighter is ready to call for water. Send them water. Good to go. Here's how the supply should look in the tray. Picture on the right, you can see that the loop 3 was lifted up and folded in to make it look neat, whereas on the left it's left out. Doesn't really matter, just one's prettier than the other, but just be sure to lift up that extra hose on top so that loop 3 can fall out. Otherwise, you're going to be finagling your way through it. Tie it together, right? Like Nacho says, the best. You have your female coupling on the supply side hanging off the top so you can connect to the discharge within the truck. Then you have the male end of the supply connected to the female end of the bundle. That way you can get water from the engine to the nozzle. Please be sure not to connect your female supply side to your male supply side, as this will just be one gigantic loop. Firefighter will pull the bundle, bring it to the door, have no supply, no water. Can't really do much with no water. Put the wet stuff on the red stuff, right? Can't do anything, so just please be sure to connect the two together. But here's a little view of how it's supposed to look in the truck. In the hose bin, you can see picture on the right, the bundle's on the right side, supplies on the left. On the left picture, bundles on the left, supplies on the right. You can more easily see that the supply end is connected to the pigtails, which you can see on the inside here. That's where our discharges are on our trucks. That being said, this concludes the PowerPoint portion of this training video. Now we'll move on to our physical demonstration of the 3 means that we deploy this hose load. The firefighter will approach the engine, remove the hose tarp, and shoulder the bundle to whichever shoulder of their choosing. After walking out a few feet, the firefighter will turn around and grab loop 3 from the supply side to remove the remaining hose from the tray. For this hose deployment, the firefighter will drop the bundle at the door and remove the straps and toss them aside. The firefighter will then grab loops 3 and 6 and walk it back a few feet. By doing this should remove any kinks within the hose line. Upon walking back, the firefighter will address any kinks that may or may not have been removed upon walking back loops 3 and 6. After doing this, the firefighter will then call for water.
Ready for water!
After the firefighter dons all necessary PPE, the firefighter will ensure the stream is on the proper setting and bleed out any air within the hose. For the second means of hose deployment, the firefighter will approach the engine in the same manner and remove the tarp in the same way. The firefighter will then shoulder the bundle once again, come back, and grab loops 3 of the supply side. Please note that hiccups may happen, and as full-time firefighters, it is important that we are able to work through these hiccups and continue to move forward. In this particular hose deployment, the firefighter will drop the bundle short, remove the strap, and then grab the nozzle and the 50-foot coupling and bring those two to the door. By doing this, all kinks should be removed, but the firefighter will still go back and address their hose line to ensure there are no hiccups that happen later on.
Ready for water!
After calling for water, the firefighter will then turn on their bottle and mask up to prepare for entry inside of the IDLH environment. After donning all PPE, the firefighter will ensure their nozzle is on the appropriate setting and bleed out any air that may be within the hose line. For the third method of hose deployment, the firefighter will approach the engine and remove the tarp in the same manner. It is also important to note that the firefighter can partially remove the supply side in an attempt to make the bundle easier to shoulder. After shouldering the bundle, the firefighter will then go back and remove the remaining supply side from the engine. When walking out, the firefighter will remove the Velcro strap to allow the tack line to flake out easier as they're deploying the hose. As you can see, this allows the firefighter to determine where they would like to place their hose when bringing their nozzle to the door. The firefighter will then go back and address their hose line to ensure there are no kinks. The firefighter will also ensure that the 50-foot coupling is as close to the door as possible.
Ready for water!
After calling for water, the firefighter will then turn on their bottle and don all necessary PPE to enter an IDLH environment. After clicking in, the firefighter will once again ensure their nozzles on the appropriate setting and bleed out any air that may be within the hose line. When loading the supply side of the hose trays, start with leaving the female coupling hanging 3 to 4 inches outside of the tray. As you can see, making a fold on the hose will allow for easier folding of the rest of the supply side. The supply side of the Pascua load is loaded in a flat load manner. On folds 3 on both sides, ensure to make a loop big enough to fit a gloved hand or approximately 8 inches. As mentioned before, the supply side is loaded in a flat load manner. So, for the purpose of time management and attention span, I have sped this portion up to 1.75 times speed. On the supply side of the Pascua load, be sure to remember that loops occur only on folds 3 on both sides. It is the bundle that loops occur on folds 3 and 6 only on one side. When loading the bundle, one easy trick to measure the perfect amount of hose that you will need is by folding the nozzle on top of itself. This will allow for the perfect amount of hose every single time. The bundle is also loaded in a flat load manner. Be sure to remember to make loops on folds 3 and 6 only on the side opposite of the nozzle. The only caveat to the flat load is when we reach the 50-foot coupling. Once our 50-foot coupling reaches this point, the firefighter will then make a Dutchman fold and bring the coupling closest to the side of the nozzle. Don't forget that second loop on fold 6. This is what differentiates the bundle from the supply. Also remember that these loops only have to be big enough to fit a gloved hand, or approximately 8 inches in size. As we reach the end of our second section of 50-foot hose to complete our 100-foot bundle, the firefighter will then grab both Velcro straps and connect one on the side of the nozzle to encapsulate everything and connect it just below the tip, and the other on the opposite side of the bundle. Once both Velcro straps have been attached to the bundle, both firefighters can then pick up the bundle and place into the hose tray. Be sure to remember that the nozzle should be opposite of the pigtail that we left on our supply side. It also helps to have a third firefighter hold the tray to keep the supply side upright. Once the bundle has been placed into the tray, you can then take the male coupling of our supply side and connect it to the female coupling of our bundle. Be sure to remember not to take the male coupling of our supply and connect it to the female coupling of our supply, as this will create one giant loop and not get water to the nozzle. This is what your finished product should look like. Bundles on the inside, supply on the outside. This allows for easier dissemination between the two, whether it's at 3 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon. I hope you learned something. Now let's get on the drill ground and get these reps in.